Oh,
You looking for
boom.
this?
Movies and attractive men are here.
Oh yeah.
The most attractive men, ready to talk about the most attractive movies. You got three really attractive people in this movie.
Oh
You
my
got
God.
Zendaya and two very attractive, I mean, not as attractive as you and me, but very
I
attractive.
know. Two attractive men and Zendaya. That should have
And
been the movie
Zendaya.
instead of Challengers.
It was good. It was good. We got a lot to talk about. This is a great movie
I
for the
know.
podcast because we can just, there's a lot of pieces in this one. There's a lot to say about it.
I do like the jumping around. There's a lot of jumping around, and a lot of movies that do that. It's not smart for them to do that. It gets a lot back and forth information. This one had to jump around. Information was perfect. It
Yeah.
was like the movie got better the more we went along because we understood each character more and more each time they went to flashback, you know?
Yeah. It
Every
kind of
time a
reminded me
flashback, yeah.
it kind of reminded me of a Nolan movie, honestly.
Honestly,
He
yeah.
really
No,
likes that like
like
kind of reverse storytelling where you go around and even though the whole movie just about that tennis match.
yeah, like
But like you get more information.
Oppenheimer, man. Oppenheimer was just like that. You know, we kept getting more and
Yeah.
more information through that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, because it starts with him in the hearing, right? Or even
Mm-hmm.
Batman Begins. Like we
Mm-hmm.
don't even start with his order. We start with him. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you go all over the place.
No, I like the symbolism. It was a lot like life is like a tennis match. You know,
Yeah,
it's back and forth. You know, you're high and you're low. You're feeling good. You're not. And it kept like the movie was like the tennis match they were playing at the end.
yeah,
And the problem. Let's get to the problem that I had with the movie.
yeah. The issue.
If you have not seen this movie and you are a tennis fan, tennis player in any way, run. Holy shit. It grinded my gears so much because there were so many. This movie had so much potential to be a very solid tennis movie. The technique for Zendaya and who was her husband in the movie? Do you
The
know the actor's
redhead.
name?
I don't know his
Yeah,
name.
I
I don't know the
know.
guy.
But dude, their technique was okay. Whoever the hell the other guy is, oh my god, I could have been a better actor. I played high school tennis. I had better technique. Holy shit. What the hell is this, Chad? What the hell is this? Oh god.
Josh
And
O'Connor.
nobody it's a ritual. Some people have rituals and some people do the same thing every time. It's smart. They got that right for tennis. No one does this. You see 60-year-old female grandmas who husband are at work and they're flirting with their tennis instructor who is 27. You see females do that. That is their stroke. That's their serve right here. Nobody does that. And then the other guy, nobody puts the ball right here. And like this, oh my god.
Okay, well, listen, that was a pretty important part of the movie.
It was. And I completely understand that. But nobody does that and it is stupid. And then the ending where he hit the net, I was like, that's a point fault. Why are they cheering? That's a point fault.
He can't hit the net.
You can't touch the net before the ball bounces twice and the point is over. If you touch the net before the ball bounces twice,
Oh, I see.
that's the other person's point. Why is Zendaya cheering? Why is everybody? I was like,
I don't know why Zendaya is cheering. Like neither of us gonna be happy with her.
I know. Anyways,
I mean, they're all awful.
that was the biggest part. That's the biggest part I had a problem with because I played tennis in high school. My dad played tennis in college. Big tennis fan. That's the biggest flaw of this movie for me. With that being said, I had a problem with a lot of the characters, but not because of underdevelopment, because I genuinely hated them, and that's what
because they developed them. Yeah,
exactly it to be. That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with the movie as a drama. I have a problem with the movie as a tennis movie.
sure.
Because I told my dad was asking if I think he should see it. And I said, hell no. He played college tennis and he coached college tennis at a D3 level. Hell no. Don't see it, Dad. If you're trying to see this movie as a drama, it's a great movie. Great movie. If you're trying to see this movie as a tennis movie, run. Don't.
Yeah.
It's not.
I don't play tennis, so I can't even get mad. I will say, as much as like we're talking about the moment where he holds the ball here, I knew that was going to come back around. I knew I was waiting for that to happen, especially after they hooked up in the back of that car. I was like, that's going to come back around during this match. He's going to say it at some point. But yeah, that's the point. Kind of the point of the movie is that all three of them are awful. They're all so awful. They're all so bad. Like, Zendaya's character is just completely focused on tennis and nothing but tennis, and got into this relationship with this guy for tennis. And now their relationship is kind of caving in because he's losing interest in continuing to play tennis. He doesn't want to go out like this. Josh O'Connor's character is like just completely, I'm going for what I want and I'm unapologetic about it, and goddamn anyone who gets in my way. And in fact, recognizes that in other people and likes that in other people, and really likes that in other, like when he finds out that the other guy is there going after Zendaya, he's like, good for you, man, good for you, because he thinks everyone's like him. And the other guy is just a total, completely spineless, very manipulative, goes behind his friend's back to mess with Zendaya, tries to manipulate Zendaya afterwards, like, is just a total freak. And they're terrible for each other. It's interesting because, like, even though they're all terrible, they all have redeeming qualities, I guess. Like, Zendaya knows what she's doing. She knows, like, that it's happening, and she hates that about herself pretty clearly. Like I said, Josh O'Connor is very supportive of other people being the way he is, but the thing he says to Zendaya is exactly that. You're like me. You're like me. You're going to go after what you want. The other guy seems to care on some level, but again, just only what he wants. And when he's in that position of power, when he's like the big shot, he just totally talks down to Josh O'Connor after he's not using him to like get along anymore. So they're all awful. They're all terrible, but it's really interesting, especially because it is all about that tennis match, and you get information more about it as they go back and forth throughout. So it actually, what's really cool about it is that the more information you get at a specific time, it kind of changes whose side you're on. Like I was totally on Zendaya's side to like be like, hey, what are you doing? Shut up. Like, you don't need my help. It shouldn't be because of me. You should just want to do it. And then I saw like she got injured and she's just kind of living vicariously through him. That's the only reason she's with him, is that he can keep playing. You get a lot of you get a lot of conversations between them where they're both 100% right. Exactly like that conversation where he is saying, are you going to leave me if I lose? And she's like, that's not important. And she's right. That's not what it should be. He's also right. She's going to leave if he loses.
She's going to leave if he loses. She's going to leave if he retires. Like, So it's like another thing I forgot I had a problem with was the biggest problem more than anything.
More than the tennis?
I can't believe I forgot this. No, this is tennis. This is going back to tennis.
Yeah.
The fucking referee. Holy shit.
What's wrong?
If you've ever watched a tennis match, the referee is never that involved. Never. You also don't get a point violation if you say, fuck off. You don't. Point violation. Oh my God. Djokovic. Novak Djokovic is the best tennis player of all time. He would have gotten 70 point violations because he cusses in fucking Slovenia or whatever I forgot where he's from, but jeez.
Just says fuck off.
Nadal says fuck off all the time. Like he called someone a bitch in Spanish, but they didn't understand him, so they didn't give him. Yeah. Anyway, moving past.
I
tennis.
I bought it as someone who doesn't watch. I totally bought it. I guess
if you don't watch tennis, this is a good movie.
I can understand. I've definitely had movies like that where I've watched them and I actually know about the subject matter.
It's like a boxing movie, Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's like boxing movies where like, they walk around like this. I was like, you were just gonna get smacked, bro. Like you're not guarding your face. I know the camera has to see your face.
Yeah.
But you protect yourself. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. But anyway, so I'm pushing past that because
Yeah.
I've already said, if you're a tennis fan, to watch it. But
Yeah.
there's I did like how many there's so much analogies in this movie. So many different analogies. I like that you could kind of like a workaholic, if you're not working or you're so consumed, you can push that to something else, if you're so consumed to be a lawyer and you get that taken away from you, you're going to try to live vicariously somebody else. You're going to be itching to get back, it's not just about tennis, this movie's about life. And I also like the point you brought up that nobody is innocent in this movie. Even the guy, I mean, I was the most irritated at Zendaya because she was the villain. Zendaya was the villain in this movie. You could say no, it was the friend. No, it was Zendaya, 100%.
Wow. Today's
But
getting strays.
yeah. Which no, I mean, strays are good because that's how good of an actress she was in this movie. She played the villain role perfectly,
Yeah.
But
The villain role.
She was a villain. Like, you think about it, she the friend at one point in time, the friend was like calling me. No, I'm gonna decline it. 100 before 10.
100%, baby.
The friend was like wanting her to break up with his best friend so he could date Zendaya.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't because she was like didn't have someone who loved her. It's because he was trying to get there. Yeah.
And he was like, I'm gonna tell Zendaya that you've been cheating on other girls. And he didn't like he pretty much told her that,
Yeah.
And then he was waiting for one mistake he made, and he made a mistake.
Hopped on it.
And yeah, and completely just said, yeah, I don't care, you're my friend.
Game.
It's my time. Even. And then the same thing happened. He was like, if you retire, she always liked me better, he would say, if you retire, she's going to leave you. And he went to Zendaya and said, I want you to coach me because I'm not going to retire. And I'm better than him. And I've always been better than him. But I've just had problems,
Yeah. He's
But
clearly more talented, but he's not putting in the work that the other guy's putting in.
And then Zendaya, on the other hand, is the villain because she is so consumed about tennis that she
well, she doesn't go for him because he's like, when he loses, that's gonna break him. And the reason she doesn't, she's like, well, it won't make you. Like, it's not not a good enough jumping off coin, man. Which is a terrible thing to say about your husband, but
yeah, and
you
that's
have a kid with.
She beat him, or I forgot the names, but the guy beat him. His best friend beat him.
Yeah.
And Zendaya and him started dating. But he became better. He became so much better than him. Yeah. And ironically, that's when Zendaya was like, oh, he's so much better than he is. I'm going to go to him now.
Yeah. Zendaya has a lot of really awful, awful lines. Like when they're, they said, when during the quasi sex scene between them, Zendaya says something like, yeah, that's your problem. You always think that you've won before the game is over. And there's a lot of times in this movie where people are like, we're still talking about tennis? It's like, of course we're talking about tennis. I was like, no, we're not talking about tennis now.
We're not talking about tennis.
Yeah, but they're just as guilty as she. They walk into it. They go right for her every time for themselves. I mean, she's not a good person, but they're not good for themselves. And they're not good for each other, honestly. They're really...
Oh, yeah.
They're a terrible, terrible group.
Oh,
I will say this is for as much as this was the latest movie that people online have been saying this is one of the best movies of all time, where I saw it and I was like, it was good. It was interesting. I mean, I could point out listen, a lot of the time they like to play some drums or some tennis score going on in the background during conversations, which is interesting. Tennis is like a relationship going back and forth. But at times it was too fucking loud. It was overpowering some of the conversation that was going on. I couldn't hear.
I had no problem with the music. I thought it's really hard to pull that off. I think they pulled it off, but I think to your point, it was too loud,
Yeah.
It was very interesting. It was like, okay, we want you to know this is an important moment. So we're going to play the music on every single important conversation that they have. But it was way too loud.
Trying to pay attention.
Exactly. You can play it in the background.
It's distracting.
Very, very, If they played it lower in the background, I think it would have been fine. Another funny moment that Zendaya terrible. Another funny
Dude, she
moment.
is getting some hate sent today.
I mean, this is all just obviously Zendaya's a great actress, one of the best actresses in Hollywood right now.
Yeah, this is true.
But this is
We swap when we
anytime
can't remember the character names. You just say the actor name, and sometimes we like
Zendaya is every time she gets a stray from this movie, it's just a compliment because that's how good of a character she is.
She really pulled it off.
There's one moment I saw it with Haley. There's one moment in the theater with Haley, and it was the part where he was like, "Hey, I love you," and she said, "I know." I looked at Haley and I was like, "You would get a backhand if you ever did that to me." And dude, I would get a backhand, yeah. The same thing would happen to me if she said, "Hey, I love you." I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
The day you hit Haley's, the day you wake up in a hospital fucking 2 weeks later, you would absolutely you would lose that fight.
Yeah. No, I would throw the first punch and she would throw the last. No, but it's like As the first red flag of the as the first red flag of the movie where it was like it just like what are you doing? Like it's not real love. It's the love for the game.
Yeah.
And the guy she's married or the guy she married is, I know you don't get tennis, but there's like Grand Slams. And Grand Slams are like a season. They're like the championship. There's 4 Grand Slams in a year.
And the US Open was the one he didn't make.
Yeah. And if you win each Grand Slam you win is like winning the championship in any other sport. Like it's a big deal. And it's single elimination. So it's every single, like you have to win 7-8 games in a row, 7-8 matches in a row. And if you win all of those and you qualify, you win all of those, like it's a big deal because you have to be hot and you have to keep winning and winning and winning against different opponents, And the fact that he, I think he was trying to complete the grand career Grand Slam, which means you win one of every single tournament. So you win 4 Grand Slams at the 4 tournaments. You can win more, but that's what he's trying to complete. And there is only a handful of tennis players in history that, like, we're talking like 3 or 4 tennis players in history that have completed the career Grand Slam, So, like, when he pulled up his stats, I'm like, dude, this guy is, like, good. He is one of the best tennis players in the world, Yeah. So it was kind of like Zendaya didn't marry him. She married the best tennis player in the world,
Yeah.
Like she didn't marry him as a person. She's like, oh, you're gonna be one of the best. You're really good, and I can't play tennis anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna marry one of the best.
It's not like not applicable to real life because we read all the time about like couples like this breaking up in the news because 2 people got together because of a career choice, and then one person started losing interest in that career and the other person is so locked in, and this destroys relationships like that. And I bet it looks like that a lot of the time, where you have someone is there for the career, but also there for the other person and says, "Hey man, I love you." It's like, yeah, I know. Like it's almost like that's not what the relationship means to her.
It reminded me of Tom Brady a little bit, that I don't think that relationship was destined anyway, but Tom Brady was so focused on being the GOAT, the greatest of all time, And Giselle was like, look, I want you to retire because I want you to be with the kids. I want you to be with the family. And he said, nah.
I got to keep playing.
I want to keep playing.
Yeah, that great season.
It was terrible. But how do you have a losing record and still make the playoffs? Yeah. Steelers could never. Kenny Pickett could never. Kenny Pickett's never had a losing season. I'm just saying.
True.
But no, it reminds me, to your point, it is very realistic. The drama that happened in this movie, it's very possible, and
it's not victimless.
No,
like they have a kid together. Like that kid is going to bear the brunt of when this goes down. Like what's going to happen?
Yeah, and it's almost and I know that like in the movies, Zendaya like loves her daughter, you know.
Sure.
But a lot of the things she does are very, very selfish and not thinking of her daughter, you know. And her husband's kind of. It seems like he's like more. I don't know. He's definitely invested in tennis, you know.
Yeah.
But at the point in time that we watched and the point in time that we saw, it definitely was more, hey, I'm gonna retire because I can't do this anymore,
Yeah.
and I want to be with my daughter. And it was the same thing like when Zendaya left and went and cheated on him, and they came back in the middle of the night. He wasn't in his bed anymore. He went to his daughter's bed. Like it's kind of symbolism. Like, hey, I know that your mom and my wife is cheating on me, so it's
I
just
know
gonna
what's
be
going on right now.
it's just gonna be me and you. You know, I'm just gonna go with my family that I have, or the one other person in this family that I have that's here and gonna be with me. You know, so it was very interesting to kind of go back and forth to different people's perspective. And I do like that there was three main characters in this movie. I think if it went one person who was the main character, then it would not have been as good as it was because there was an argument for every single person on, hey, what they're doing is not actually that bad, other than Zendaya. That's why I think she's the villain. But the two friends, and Zendaya, I can't argue that. I can't argue
I
that.
don't
I'm
know what
sorry.
I would say. Yeah.
The two friends, you can make an argument like, hey, this friend, took away Zendaya from you. Yeah, I can understand why you're an
Went on
asshole
to
now.
greatness. Yeah.
You know? And then the other friend was like, hey, this guy beat me, never gave me any credit. I was always living in his shadow. He always put me in his shadow, never treated me as an equal. He was
Yeah.
always thought he was better than me, never treated me like that.
Yeah.
Back and forth. You can make an argument for which one is worse and which one is like in the right, which one's not in the right, There's an argument for both of them. And that's why Zendaya is the villain.
Yeah, and I mean, like, again, not unrealistic archetypes. Like a guy
Mm-hmm.
who has never had to work too hard because he's just that talented, and then suddenly runs into a wall of like, this is the pro leagues now, and
Yeah.
everyone is doing tennis all day, every day, and you might be talented, but you have to do it. Other guy starts tailing it, going for it, now has Zendaya as his coach,
Yeah.
and starts climbing on up, passes the guy, but that guy still lives in his head and
Mm-hmm.
beats him in that challenger.
Yeah.
And then they come up again and like, what's gonna happen if I can't win here? Like this guy lives
Yeah.
in my head. He knows he lives in my head. Now that guy knows that Zendaya can coach him. She didn't want
Mm-hmm.
before.
Yeah.
And and that's all the relationship is to Zendaya. Like again, that same scene where he's like, I don't want you to be my coach. It's like, what do you want me to be here for? You
Mm-hmm.
want me to be your girlfriend? There's plenty of girls around here that would like to be your girlfriend. Like, why am I
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. No, I liked it. I thought it was a movie to make you think,
Yeah.
I thought it was a perfect movie for our podcast because, it's
Yeah.
an attractive movie for an attractive podcast.
We knew we were going to go wild talking about challenge. We have limited time today, and we knew we were going to go
Yeah.
wild. We have some other things we were going to talk about. We're like, we can just talk about challengers.
We're going to save it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll save it. We were going to talk about If and Abigail, which we will do in the future. We're
Yes.
also coming up. We're going to talk about Furiosa comes out this week.
Furiosa. We're going to do a Mad Max ranking.
We'll do a ranking
so that's
on
gonna be
that.
cool.
And
Yeah.
also in June 13th is season 4 of The Boys. I've
Yeah.
never seen The Boys,
I
and we're
have.
gonna watch through and we're gonna talk about it after I finish every season. We'll have a podcast, at least among other things, maybe, but we'll at least talk about that along the way. We'll get
Yeah.
all ready.
We're hitting the ground running. There's a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows that we want to talk about, and
Yeah.
a
It's
lot of
fun
stuff
for
I've
me.
seen, a lot of stuff Chad hasn't seen, a lot of stuff I haven't seen, a lot of stuff Chad's seen. We're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna be working, we're gonna be talking, and most importantly, we're gonna be attractive.
Yeah, it's awesome for me because we have a lot of. I'm not a big TV show guy, mostly movies, but this is a way for me to just like write in and watch stuff like this because not that I don't want to see The Boys. I've seen most of season 1 and I enjoyed it a lot. So this will be good for me getting more cultured.
Definitely,
Right.
definitely.
So that's what we got coming up. That was Challengers.
Oh yeah.
And Ben has to
Yeah.
go run now. So we call it.